essence of your US visa interview is based on what you have on your DS-160. The DS-160 is one of the most important documents that you need when you go for your interview. The information you put in your DS-160 is going to determine whether your visa is going to get approved or not. And this basically is what the visa officer is going to see and judge you on, and is going to make the visa officer have an informed decision about your case. Should I approve this visa or should I deny this visa? A lot of people have been denied their visas just because of some silly mistakes that they did while filling their DS-160. In this video, I'm going to break down step-by-step process of how you can fill the DS-160 correctly such that it's going to guarantee you a visa approval. At the end of this video, you would have known exactly what to put in, and you would have increased your confidence as regards getting your DS-160 filled, and of course going for your visa interview and acing the interview excellently. So let's begin. The first thing you need to do to fill your DS-160 form is for you to go to your browser and type ceac.state.gov. It has brought it out for me, and then I click it. So you are going for a non-immigrant visa, right? So you are going to come here and click DS-160 online non-immigrant visa application, and then you are going to click that. Now when you get to this page, you have to be very careful because this is where you are going to decide the location you want to have your visa interview done. So you have to pay close attention to the different locations that are here. A lot of countries are the same, but they have different places in that country. For example, if you are doing your interview in Nigeria, we have 2 locations, so you have to pay attention to what you choose here. If you choose Abuja, then you have to have your visa interview done in Abuja. If you choose Lagos, you have to have it done in Lagos. So here we are going to come here, and I will click on Nigeria. I'll look for Nigeria. IJKLMN, yes. So I will choose Abuja, Nigeria, for example, right? And then I'm going to come here to click this particular number that you're seeing here. So I'll come here and type that BT5TJ, and I'll click on start an application. So once I click on that, it's basically going to ask me this. So it will generate an application ID for me. This application ID is very important because it helps you to retrieve your application in case you log out of the system. And this system is very sensitive. By sensitive, I mean it is very time sensitive. If you waste a lot of time on it, it can prompt you to start again from the very beginning. So one of the major things I'll ask you to do while filling this form is for you to save every portion of the form that you have filled so that it doesn't erase your entire data and you have to start again from scratch. Remember, it takes time to fill this. You don't rush to fill the DS-160. You have to take time to fill. So now I'm going to click on agree, right? After taking a look at all of this computer fraud, abuse, and all of that. So this, for example, this your application ID, ensure that you copy it and put it somewhere safe. So I'm going to copy this now, and I'm going to open my doc and put it here. All right, so I'm going to come back to this, and then I'm going to answer some security questions. Of course, I'm going to blur this part because this is supposed to be like a personal information for you, so that when you lose it, you can remember the security question and you'll be able to retrieve your DS-160. I'm going to choose this and put this, and I'll click on continue. So now we have started filling the DS-160 form. So if you take a look at this part here, you've ticked the getting started part. The getting started part is where you have to click on agree, and then you set up your security questions. Now we are taking a look at all of this most important information, and remember, you are filling this with the visa officer in mind. You are filling correctly, you are filling truthfully, you are filling accurately, right? So immediately you get to the visa interview, this information that you put in there are basically what the visa officer is going to see. So let's begin filling this. So I'm going to start with, of course, your surname. That's like your last name. I'm going to start and put this Olaniyo Chukwu Ebube. Let me put this Chukwu right? Full name in native alphabet. Do you have your full name in native alphabet? More often than not, you do not have this, right? So you're just going to click on does not apply. The next question here is, have you ever used other names, that is maiden, religious, professional, alias? I will choose no. If you have used other names in the past, you can choose yes. This is if you are married or something, right? So if you are married and perhaps you changed your name to your spouse's name, you could decide to choose yes. And then if you choose yes, it will ask you to provide the other names, right? So in my case, I'm going to choose no. Do you have a telecode that represents your name? I don't. Sex, I'm going to come here to choose that I'm a male. Marital status, single. And your dates of birth, right? I'm just going to choose this, right? So for states, I can come here and put like Ikeja. Then states, I can put Lagos, right? And country, I'll put Nigeria. Nigeria, right? So we are done with this. So what I do is I'm going to save it. Right, so I'm going to continue and go to the next personal application phase, right? So we've done that, save, and then I will click continue. You can see that it's there already. So country, region of origin, right? Where are you from? Come here and you click, or I'll click Nigeria. I'm from Nigeria. Do you hold or have you held any nationality other than the one indicated above on nationality? So if you are a dual citizen, if you have like the nationality of other countries, you can come here and say that yes, you do have nationalities, but in my case, I put no. Are you a permanent resident of a country other than your country? I'm not a permanent resident of any other country, so I will say no, I'm not a permanent resident. So your national identification number, in Nigeria, you have your national identification number, correct? So you are going to put in your national identification number in this case. So I'm going to come here and put my national identification number. US social security number. Do you have social security number? No, you don't. Does not apply. US taxpayer ID number does not apply because you are not in the United States yet. So I'm going to click on save and then I continue application. See, easy peasy. And then I'll click on next, travel. So first, what is the purpose of your trip to the United States? So if you are coming for academic purposes, you come here and look for academic or language students, F1. You click on that, right? Have you made specific travel plans? As at the time of filling this, right, if I was to fill this again, I will select no, that I've not made any travel plans yet because I don't know the decision of my visa yet, right? So that is what I will choose personally. So specify, I'm going to choose F1. If you are an F2, you can come here and choose like child of an F1 or F2 or spouse of an F1 or F2 rather, right? So I'll click on students F1. Have you made specific travel plans? No, like I said, intended date of arrival, I can come here and choose August, right? I can come here and choose 8th of August 2025. Because now, when it comes to the intended date of arrival, this is where your I-20 comes in. You do not travel to the US until at least 1 month before your school resumes. Most school in the United States resume by August. August 4th, August 21st, classes begin. So you have to ensure that your intended date of arrival is closer to when school resumes, right? So, and with that, you'll be able to, and with that, you'll be able to defend your case that my school resumes this particular time. You say why it is important for you to fill this form yourself, so that you get to know what you put in. And whatever you put in this form is basically what you are telling the visa officer, so that you can confirm everything that you have said so far. So intended length of stay in the United States, I'm going to come here, years, and then you just put 2 years. So this basically talks about your I-20 again. So go to your I-20 and take a look at that program duration. It's going to have your CIP code. CIP code is basically like the course code of your program. That is what the immigration people know about, right? And then you will have like the duration of your stay. It's going to start from, say, program. You will have like program start date and program end date. So you see maybe something like August 2025 to May 2027, right? So just take a look at your I-20 and put that in. Calculate the number of years. If it is like a 2-year program, put that you are putting 2 years there. If you are going for a PhD and it is like a 4-year or 5-year program, put it there that you are spending 4-year or 5-year, right? So according to my I-20, I'm spending just 2 years there. So address where you will stay in the United States. So now this is tricky because you don't have anybody in the US, right? So you must have ensured that at least if you are going to a strange man's land, you should have secured your accommodation. So this is where you get to speak with your school. Are there accommodation plans for graduate students? Or are there accommodation plans for international students like me who are looking at coming this summer, or who are looking at coming this fall or this spring or what have you, right? They will most likely provide an address for you. And if they don't, just put like a school address in there, right? So now I'm going to put in the street address. So this is after confirming that perhaps I have accommodation secured and all of that. I can put in the address that I have in here, or better still, you could decide to put like the address that your DSO suggests that you put in, right? Or some people actually use their school address. So address where you will stay in the United States. Of course, I'm just going to come here and put this, right? And yeah. So now that you've done that, we go to the next part of your DS-160, which is person paying for your trip. Now, come closer, and open your ears well, because I need to explain this to you. Most people believe that if I am the one paying for my trip myself, I do not have any sort of sponsorship, I do not have any form of assistantship, then I'm the one paying for myself. I'm paying out of my pocket, so I'm using personal funds. Fantastic. You can go ahead and choose self, right? So if you choose present employer, that means it is your employer that is paying for you, that is covering like your school fees, everything in between, right? Employer in the US, that is if you have somebody in this place, in this United States, that is paying your school fees for you, they are the one you should put there. If you have a graduate assistantship position, the person or entity paying for your trip should be other company or organization. And I have my reasons. Now, my school is paying my tuition, right? So that's what is on my I-20, that I have a stipend, I have a graduate assistantship. And my I-20 form is what I'm presenting to the visa officer. We are still going to talk about interview questions and all of that, and I'm going to tie it back to this. Because remember that I said that I have not made any travel plans. I said no. So entity paying for your trip is my school. They are the ones that will eventually pay my tuition fee. This entity paying for your trip might necessarily not be the fact that, you are the one paying for your flight tickets. Who is paying for your trip? You are coming to the United States. You are staying in the United States for 2 years. So who is paying for your trip? It might not make sense, but it is what it is. To make it simpler for you, look at the financial aspects of your I-20. Any money that you see that is bigger than the rest of the amount that is there, then whoever is sponsoring that is responsible for your trip. If you have a graduate assistantship and stipend and it covers almost 95% of your total cost of attendance, then it is your school that is paying for your trip. However, if it's like family funds or personal funds that is more than that, then you are responsible for paying for your trip. Other company and organizations. So I'm going to come here and I'll put the name of my school, or the name of the school that you've been given admission to, or the name of the school that is on your I-20. Just put it like that, right? And then telephone number, it could be this. And then relationship to you, you can choose graduate school. and then street address, address of company or organization pin, and I'll put the same address, and then I will save it. Right, and then I'll click on continuing application. Are there other persons traveling with you? If you are traveling with other people, you say yes. If you are not, I'll say no. So no, I'll save that and I'll continue my application. So this is where it gets more serious and critical, so you have to pay closer attention. Previous US travel information, that is if you have traveled to the United States before. So we have you ever been in the US? I will say no, I have not. If you have, say yes. These are commonsensical questions, but very tricky. Have you ever been issued a US visa? No. It's your first time applying. Have you ever been refused a US visa before, or have been refused admission to the United States, or withdrawn your application for admission at the port of entry? If you have gone to the embassy before and they give you blue or pink paper, please say yes. They have the record. Don't go ahead and say no, they will not know. They will catch you, and it can lead to a permanent ban. Not this one that Uncle Diti is doing. So please come correct and be truthful. If you have not, click no. I'm going to do another video entirely for people who have been denied the US visa. I was denied once and I got approved on the second attempt. So I'm going to do a video entirely for that, on how to answer this particular question. In order for this video not to be too long, I'm going to come back to that in another video. So if you have not subscribed, please ensure that you consider subscribing, so that you will be one of the first few people to know when I put that video up. So we come here, and has anyone ever filed an immigrant petition on your behalf with the United States Citizenship and Immigration Services? If anyone has filed for you, maybe your uncle in 1980 something, they're like, mommy, my child, my boy, come on. Say yes and put it there. But if no one has filed for you, which more often than not it's like mostly the case, you just put no, right? And yeah, you are going to save, and you continue application. So I click on go ahead, right? So address and phone number. Where is your address? So this address is basically where you are currently staying in Nigeria, right? So I can put number 8 Okokomaiko Okokomaiko Street, right? City, where's Okokomaiko? I don't know, but city could be, say, maybe I just put Ikorodu, and then the state is Lagos, right? Postal code, zip code. Every place have zip code. If you don't know the zip code of your location, please Google it. Every location have their own zip code, right? So if you don't know yours, ensure you Google it. So I'm going to come here and put zip code, yeah, and then country, and I'll put Nigeria. Now, mailing address. Is your mailing address the same as your home address? In Nigeria, most people actually don't use mails, right? But then I'm still going to put it that yes, it is my mailing address. I'm going to put phone number. You might not add like the country code. I think it's okay for you to do that. If you have another number, you can put it. Or you click on does not apply. If you have a work phone number, you can click does not apply, right? Have you ever used any other phone numbers in the last 5 years? If you have, you can say yes, you have used, and then you can provide the additional phone numbers. If you have not, you can come here and you select no. It's necessarily not a big deal. And if you have like your email address as well, you can come here and put your email address. And have you ever used any other email address in the last 5 years? You can decide to put yes, especially if you have like a work address, right? So you can decide to put your company's address here. So I can put Ezekiel.Olani at microsoft.com, right? Something like that. And social media, this is very important. So have you been posting Palestinian wars? They are going to check and they will know. So if you have been posting all of those content, or you have posted content that are necessarily against where you are going to, go and delete them. Okay? So this is where you are going to put like your social media handles, particularly all the social media handles that you've been on, whether Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, everything. Even if, as long as you have an account, please put it there, right? You might necessarily not be posting, but as long as your account is still very much active and valid, please put it there. So I'm going to put LinkedIn. This is the one that I like to put in the most. Social media identifier. A lot of people are like, should I put the link, or should I put the name of, or should I just put my name? For example, LinkedIn, for example, now I could decide to say I want to put Ezekiel Olaniyan, but which of the Ezekiel Olaniyans on LinkedIn is related to me? So one of the things that I do is I go to a website called bit.ly to shorten it, right? So I'm just going to shorten my link. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to look for the link that is like my social media profile. So let me just do that really quick. I'm going to click on LinkedIn right here. And then I'm going to copy this, right? That exactly leads me to my LinkedIn. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to put like a short link, and then this is my link, right? I'm going to get your free link, blah, blah, blah. So you have to like log in and do all of those stuff. I'm going to do that really quick. No, I don't need all of this. And then I will come here and I will create a new link, right? So I'm going to shorten a link, and then the destination that you are really going to is this, right? And I can just come here and put in capital letter. Why am I putting it in capital letter? Because your DS160 is all filled in capitals. Even if you don't put the if you don't turn on like the caps lock on your device, it's all filled in capital letter. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put everything in capital letter like this. Ezekiel Olaniyan, something like that, right? And then I will choose create your link. Although I've already used this before, so I can now add something like LinkedIn, right? And then I will click on create your link. Well, I've used this before, but you get the point. Looks like the destination is already used for another link, right? So I have an existing link that I have already shortened with bit.ly, something like this. This is not itself, but you get the point, right? Put in your destination link here, and put everything, the custom back half, and put everything in capital letter and create your link, and everything will be good. So that link that you created now, you will copy that and put that here. So in this case, now that they said that I have like one link like that, I'm going to copy this and I'm going to put it here. If I put it here like this, if you copy this, for example, it might necessarily not go, because okay, it went. Fantastic. So yeah, pretty much that, and that's what I'm going to do for other ones as well. So I just have to quickly put that in case you are wondering, should I put in my name or I should put in my link that leads to my profile? I will suggest that you rather put in your link that leads to your profile. And then I'm going to add another. If I have other social media platforms, I'm going to put Facebook, do the same thing. I will add another, and I'll put the link, of course, right? And I'm going to add another and come here and put which other social media is there. I'll put Twitter, I'll put YouTube, I'll put Instagram, everyone that you are on, just ensure that you put it there. So I'm going to remove this one so that it won't be too long, and I'll remove this too. Okay, so do you wish to provide information about your presence on any other website or applications you have used within the last 5 years to create or share content, photos, videos, status updates? I'll click on yes. Remember, that I said this is basically what the visa officer is seeing. Everything that you put in here is what they are going to see. And the more elaborate you are, the better your chances of getting an approved visa. So you might be wondering, so Ezekiel, what are you going to put? Yes, additional social media platform. Forget this additional social media platform. It's basically like what other sites do you have your work on? So if you have a portfolio, you are a graphic designer or you are a video editor and you have all of your portfolio maybe on Behance or what's the name of that website, put them here. So I can come here now and say Behance, right? I can come here and say Behance, and I will put the link of my work, the direct link. I'm going to put it here. If I have another portfolio, maybe I can decide to name it portfolio, right? And then I'll put the link here. It could be like a Canva link, it could be a website link or what have you. I'll put it here. If I have another one again, you know, maybe I've been asked to speak, or maybe I have an article on Medium, I can come here and I'll type Medium. I'll put it here. If I have been featured in newspaper, right, I'm going to come here and put the name of the newspaper that I was featured on, The Guardian, and I'll put the name. So it has to be robust. Everything that you think that you have been featured on in this life, please put it here, right? So it's basically going to like set you apart from other candidates, and like, okay, I think this person is versatile. Apart from what you post, apart from the sensible things you post on your social media, you're also doing other things for yourself as well. And what this does basically is that you are exceptional in what you do, and particularly if it relates to your course of study. These things actually are like bragging rights. You know, it will make you speak more confidently to your stuff, and then when you say that, oh, I have done this, I have done that, you are not just saying it, right? You are saying it with receipts. You have receipts, you have evidence that you've done all of these things. So yeah, I can just come here and put like something as an handle, and then I'm going to save. No thanks. Continue application. I'm going to the passport. Of course, by now you should know that you should have your Nigerian passports with you, right? So you should have your travel document number. It starts with like 2 alphabets and then some numbers in between, right? So I can just select travel documents type, regular. That is what I have, and I think that is what most Nigerians have as regards passport. If yours is diplomatic or official, please use it. So passport number, I can decide to put, say, AJ, then passport number. You will see the passport number when you open your passport, so it's self-explanatory. Passport book number, we do not have passport book number, so you can click or does not apply. Country authority that issued passport travel documents. If it was in Nigeria that you got your passport, put it there. If it is outside Nigeria, put the country, whatever country that you got your passport, put it in there as well. City where your passport was issued, I'm going to choose Ibadan. State or province or your state. Country, Nigeria. Issuance date, so I'm just going to choose the date of my passport issuance. And then expiration date is this, right? 2020, this, right? Have you ever lost a passport or had one stolen? If you have, put yes, and you will explain how it got missing. If you have not, select no, and you save, right? When you save, you continue the application as well, and you go to the next one, which is US contact. Contact person, US point of contact information. They will always ask you, do you know anybody in the US? You don't have anybody in the US. If you have somebody in the US, tell them you have somebody in the US. But in most cases, yeah, the ideal thing for you to fill in this regard is for you to fill in the name of your designated school official. Your designated school official is the relationship between your school and the immigration office. In your I-20, your I-20 is a document. If you don't know what I-20 is, I'm putting it on the screen now. It's this thing that you're going to see, because these are like the 2 documents that you need. Your DS-160 form that you are filling now, and then your I-20. So these are what you need. So your I-20 is going to contain the name of your designated school official and his or her phone number. and even the email address. So more often than not, you have been contacting your DSO, designated school official, DSO for short, and then they are literally like, you are literally exchanging emails with them, right? So it is their contact they are going to put here. So for the sake of this, I'm going to put the surname of my DSO, and I'm going to put this, right? Organization name, I will put the name of the school. Relationship to you, I'll put school official, right? US street address of the point of contact, so you are putting like the person's office address in the school. So it's going to be this. So because of the peculiarities of this, right, so you want to take a look at where is your office. So I mean, because I need it to fill my DS-160, so ask them their office address, and then they will be happy to give you. More often than not, it's always like in the email that they share with you, you know, more or less like the salutation, or you know, that down part of the email, it's always there. So if you don't have it, you can just look for it. And so let's say this is, if your house is in North Broad, so this could be South Broad, right? The same stuff, but the zip code will change, of course, so it could be something like this now. And then phone number of your DSO, right? So you put that in here. And then email address of your DSO is going to be the name of your DSO at your school.edu, right? So that is how it's going to be. And then you click on save. Okay, so there is something, sorry, the zip code is invalid, so I'm just going to remove 10 and save. Okay, so continue application. So we filled that, so you can see how easy this thing is. It's easy to fill, but you have to be very careful and understand certain details that it corresponds with. So father's full name and date of birth. So I'll put, of course, your father's name, right? So I'm going to put this there. And then date of birth, I'm going to put this. Is your father in the US? No. So for mother's middle name, I'm going to put this, and please ensure it's related to your name, or these are more or less like just make up details. Okay, is your mother in the US? No. Do you have any immediate relatives, not including parents, in the United States? If you have, put yes. If you don't have, put no. But please put no. Okay, so do you have any relatives in the United States? No, I don't. I don't know anybody here in the US. So work. This is arguably the most important part of your DS-160 form. Every other part is important, but this place, come closer. So primary occupation. So there are going to be different industries there. You have to choose which one you are most related to, which one is most connected to you, depending on whatever you are doing. Perhaps you are a pilot, you are a bricklayer, you are a carpenter, everything is there, right? So you have to relate it here, and you have to be doing something. You might necessarily say that, so I'm just out of school, I don't have work yet. Please find work and put it here, right? So you have to find something and put it in here, and it has to be something that you've been doing. You might necessarily not be like legally employed, but you are maybe assisting someone. Find a way to craft all of those English and find it here, because it's important. It doesn't make sense for you to go to the embassy and say that you are a volunteer. So that means you are not earning. So for this now, I'm going to put communications, and I'm going to put present employer or school name. So where am I communicating? What communications, whatever do I have? I can decide to put this. I'm going to put, say, Red Media. Address, I'll just put this. And this, right? Postal code, find the postal code of that, of where you are. Phone number, it could be your office phone number or your own phone number, right? Nigeria, start date, put the start date there, right? Monthly income in local currency, how much are you earning per month? How much is entering your bank account per month? So you put it in there. So if it's something like this, you put it in there. Now, this thing that they say briefly describe, don't briefly describe. Are you hearing me? Don't briefly describe, say everything. Now, let me give you context to this. Remember that they are saying this, right? And during your visa interview, this is how they might necessarily not look at you eyeball to eyeball like this. They might just be looking at their computer and say, what do you say you do? And then you say, oh, I work as a communications something at Red Media. I do this, I do that. It has to relate with what you put here, right? So let's construct this. Because for context, what you want to do is you want to tell them what you are currently doing, how important your role is, the problem you are solving, and how it ties to the place you are going to study, and why you need it to study, so that you can come back to your current place of work, or so that you can come back to, do something. That is where your post-study plan comes in. Just tie it to your post-study plan. Tie it to what you have done, what you are currently doing, and what you plan to do moving forward. Do you understand? So let's come up with something, right? So I can come here and say, I work as a communications associate at Red Media. You already said how much you earn, right? Where my responsibilities are not limited to. So please just ignore the typos, right? Man, just ignore the typos. So when my responsibilities are not limited to, then you state your responsibilities, right? I have been working here for the past 5 years, and this and this and this are what I have achieved so far, right? You say that. It's going, like, you elaborate. Because what you are, the point of you elaborating is to show the weight of the work that you do. Is to make you is to paint you as an expert in what you are doing in your workplace, right? And there's dignity in labor, right? If you are able to explain all of these things, will they read it? They might not read it. But will they see how long it is? Yes, they will see how long it is. And it is in those little things that you are putting in there, that you are putting in keywords, right? I do this, I do that, I do this, I do that. So it has to be long. You put everything there, right? So you tie it to your. So these are the problems that you have done these are the problems that you have solved in the last 5 years, right? And this is why I'm going for this. I plan to come back to this position. I plan to come back to an higher position where I'm going to be doing more of this, because I would have increased my perceived value based on the degree that I'm going to the United States to earn. Something like that line. So it has to be long, detailed, punchy, witty. You get me? Good. So that is this. Briefly describe your duties and save. Continue application. Right? So we've said all of this, and then next work. So provide your employment information for the last 5 years that you were employed if applicable. So if you have been working before this particular one that you filled in the previous slide, this is where you want to put it in here, right? Were you previously employed before the other one? I mean, before the red media, right? I will say yes, I was previously employed. And then you can decide to say I was a employer name. Which one should we use now? We can use extreme ideas. And then employer streets, I don't know, but I know they're in Okpebe, Ikeja. City, Ikeja. States, Lagos States. Postal code, you put in the postal code. Telephone number, put in your telephone number. Right. And then job title, you can decide to say you are a communications intern. So this is where you are building progression. So from a communications intern, you went to like a communications associate and then a communications manager. So you are building pedigree for your life, for your career, basically, right? Supervisor surname, if you have supervisor, I can decide to put Babaiko Steve, right? Employment date from this day, say 2018 to this day 2020. So at this point, this is where you get to put like your duties, what you did when you were an intern. And of course, you are necessarily not tying anything back here. What you are doing here is you are tooting your own, you are blowing your own trumpet. So you are like, oh, I served as a liaison between clients. Please just don't pay attention to the typos. Between clients and my company through my efforts in increasing our revenue, I was able to win a $10,000 projects from my organization, you know, something like that. And then you keep going on and on and on based on what you've been able to do, right? So you make sure that it is exhaustive as well. Have you attended any educational institutions at secondary level or above? Of course, yes. So instead of putting in your secondary school and all of that, you could decide to just put your university straight up, right? Where you had your first degree. If you had like, what's it called now? I think Polytechnic, like an HND, OND and all of those things, you can decide to put it here as well. So name of your institution, I can put my school, University of Ibadan. Then you can, what's it? I think something Oduduwa Road, right? Then the city is in Ibadan, right? The state is your state. Postal code, put the postal code of your school there, right? The country, and then you come in here to put Nigeria, of course, right? Course of study, what did you study? Then you put what you studied. Dates of attendance, that is when you started school in itself, right? So most people don't know this, but I think you should be able to know. Then date of completion, should be able to put, I don't know the day that I finished, but right. So if you have others, you know, institutions that you have attended, this is the best place for you to add another, right? And then you save. No thanks. Oh, session timed out. Okay. So we have to start again, right? But the interesting thing is that we saved it. So in case it times out, don't panic at all. All you just have to do is reload the page and come here to, as if you are starting again, but you're not starting again, but pay attention. So click on Nigeria, Abuja. Remember that was where we selected. and then the code as shown, you put this, right? So instead of clicking on start an application, what I'm doing is retrieve an application. So I'm just going to click on this, retrieve an application. Then our application ID, I have copied it, is this, right? Retrieve application. So it's going to ask you like those security questions that we talked about in the beginning. So I'm going to put the first 5 letters of my surname. So it has brought me to where we last saved, and then we are going to just build up from there, right? So continue application, right? Then you click on next. So it's taking us back to this place. So you just click on yes, employer name, put it there. So you can see that it has actually helped you. Employer street address, put it there, right? This is where we have Ikeja. States, we have Lagos, put it here. Zip code, put it here. Country, we have Nigeria, put it here. Telephone number of, right, put it here. Please make sure you put the correct telephone number, please. Job title, we have communication intent. Supervisor's name, Baba Iko, this, and then just put the date that you started and then the date that you ended. And then this, you just have to type it again. I served as a liaison between. So basically you just get to do all of those things, ensure that it is robust, elaborate, show receipts, toot your own. Nobody will toot your own for you. Whatever you've done, tell them, say it here, put it here. So I need you to fill this DS1 system with one thing in mind. Fill it as if the visa officer is not going to listen to you at all. So whatever you intend to say at the embassy, make sure that you put it in here, right? So you fill that in. Have you attended any educational institutions at a secondary school? Yes, I have. And then you just put the name of the school, this, right? 7 something, right? And I put, so I just have to quickly fill this in again. Postal code, put it there. Country, here, then cost of study, which is this. Start date, just put something, and then end dates. In case you don't know, you can just like speculate the days that you started and the dates that you ended. So I'm going to save this now, and I'm going to continue the application. We are almost done, right? So I'm just going to come here and click on additional information. So this is where we have other things like tribe. So this basically proves like your home tie. Do you speak any other language? What tribe do you belong to, right? So as you can see right here, do you belong to a clan or tribe? Yes, I do belong. Clan name, or I'm just going to put Yoruba here. Language, right? Provide a list of languages to speak. I speak Yoruba. I speak English. Those are the 2 languages that I speak. Have you ever traveled to any countries region in the last 5 years? I will say yes. I was in Ghana. I'm going to pick the country that I was in. If you haven't traveled before, you can decide to say you have not traveled before. It's not a penalty at all, but if you have, it's good. Show that you've built some sort of travel history. And if you've traveled to more than one country in the last 5 years as well, you can also put it here. Have you belonged to or contributed to work, professional or charitable organization? I will say yes, I have, and then I'm going to I'll put in all these things that I've done in this life, right? That can be verified. I'll put this here. I'm going to put other things as well. So all of these things that I'm not making them up, these are like real stuff that I have done. So if you have done like things like that, you could always put them here. So it says charitable or worked for any professional, social or charitable organization. I can also come here and put outpouring, right? There are a lot, right? But for the purpose of this, I'm just going to stick with this theory. So if you have 10, add the 10, right? If you have 5, add the 5. If you have just 2, add them, right? It makes your stuff more robust. It makes your profile more robust. So do you have any specialized skills or training such as firearms, explosives? No, I don't. Have you ever served in the military? No, I haven't. Have you ever served in being a member of being involved with whatever? I haven't. See, when they say paramilitary unit, vigilante rebel group, it's not NYSC, so don't go and put NYSC this thing there. You have not. Shikena. Save. And then continue application. So I'm going to click on the security background now and all of that. Do you have communicable? So all of this are like, this is the page of no's, right? So I don't have any of these diseases and I never will. Have you ever been all of these things? No, I have not. If you have, tell them yes so that you have, but for me I have not. So I'm just going to click on no, and then next I'm going to click on no again. No. Turning back. Okay, so I think we are done, and this is the final no, right? And now I'm going to save. So the next part that we are going to now, we are almost at the end of filling the DS-160 form. If you have not subscribed, ensure that you do subscribe. And then if you have any questions at all, please put it in the comment section. I will be glad to assist you further. Then next we have you ever been withheld? Nope. So that is the part 5 of the DS-160. So additional point of contact information. So these are the people that you have back at home. Who are the people that can vouch for you? Who are the people that can stand in the gap for you apart from your family members, right? So I'm going to put some people here, and then I'll just put like their address. Adeni Jones, 12110, City Ikeja, State Lagos, right? Postal code. If it does not apply, if the person does not have postal code, you can decide to put, but if they do, all locations actually have this, so put it there. So Nigeria, telephone number, put the person's telephone number. Okay. And then email address of the person, you put the email address of the person as well, right? That's one. So the second person, you are giving like 2 individuals. These are people that are more or less like your referees basically, right? Surname of another one is let's do this. Okay, so I can decide to put where again can I put? So I can put Apapa Street, right? I can put Apapa Street. City is Victoria Island. State Lagos. Postal code, put the postal code there. Then Nigeria, telephone number, and then email, put that, and then you save, continue, and then click on service. So this is where you have your service ID. So your service ID is on your I-20, right? So your I-20, as I have shown on the screen before, I'm going to show it again. This part right here is your service ID, where it has like NO something. So you copy that and you put it here, right? And then you put your service ID in here. Then name of school, you put the name of your school. Course of study, what course are you studying? Then you can put the name of this, of what you are studying. So some people might decide to say, I'm putting like the name of it is called communication studies, right? While some people can decide to say it is what is on my I-20 that I'm going to put in there. Anyone you put there is fine. If you put the name of your studies, which is communication studies, for example, and then on your I-20 it is saying speech, rhetoric, and communication, they are the same thing, as long as you understand that this is where I'm going to and this is what I'm going for, right? So don't panic, just put, either what is on your I-20 or what program you are going for. Some people decide to go for what is on the I-20, which is always fine as well, right? And then you put the address of your school. So this is your school address, right? So you put your school address. We could decide to change this to say 700 South, right? So just put your school address in there and you save. So the next place is going to take us to now. Service ID is invalid. So, man, the service ID is a very, very sensitive information, so I can't give you I can't put my service ID in here, right? Okay, so there you go. Upload photo. So your photo has to be the US size. What's the US size again? But it has to be US size. So for you to be on this, for you to be safe, right? So you can go to any computer institute or any photographer, right? So places like Studio 24 could actually get this done for you. So you just tell them that you want to have your passport done, and they will ask you what kind of passport. You say US passport. They already have the dimension, right? So you just have to go there, tell them that you are doing this for US whatever, right? And then they're going to shoot you, not gun. They're going to shoot your picture. Good. And then here you are going to upload the photo. And then when you upload your photo, you click on next. Do I have a photo to upload? I don't think I do. But if you do, you are going to upload your photo and upload your photo right here. So I'm going to come here, choose a file, and then I think I do have a picture, and I'm going to choose this, right? And upload selected photo, right? So it will say photo passed quality standards. If it doesn't, it's going to show red, blah blah blah. This photo is long. It's been a while that I took it. So yeah, and you can decide to choose a different photo as well. And that's it. We've come to the end of the DS160 filling. And of course, you can decide to review. If you review, it's going to show you everything. Let's try to review and see how our DS160 is. Can you see now that I have everything here? So this is how your standard DS160 is going to look like. It will have your photo in there. You should have your photo in there. Any information that you need to edit, you are going to edit it easily. So ensure that you review your DS160 before you submit, because once you submit, I don't think you'll be able to retrieve them any longer. Yeah, so that's it. We filled the DS160 form in less than an hour. And I wish you the very best in your visa interview. Please make sure that you fill this DS160 yourself. Ensure that you seek help where you need help. By help, I mean contacting your school. If you need clarification about certain things, ensure that you contact your DSO in that regard, and then they will be willing to help you. In case you have any other comments or questions apart from that, please put it in the comment section below and I'll be happy to assist you. Till then, I will see you in the next video. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and do all of those good stuff. Your yes is on the way and it has to meet you ready. See you in the next video.